Let's have a look another aspect about the function in a graph. So in this question, we're already looking at question 9. This is a question where Fia is recording temperature in the kitchen, and she records that over 10 hours. And we understand that Tx means temperature, and that means Y, that's the Y-axis, and X is the number of hours that she is starting, and that's where we have the Y and the X-axis, and we have part of the graph, and it was in different section. Okay, and then let's have a look at part C. Section S, now we don't have section S there, of the graph goes from x equal 8 to x equal 10. So it goes from those two values. Yeah. Now, what does that mean when you are looking at that? That means that when x is equal 8, y, or temperature in this case, is equal 15. And that's what we can see when time is 8 hours, the temperature here is 15. Okay. During section S of the graph, the rate of change of temperature is plus 3 degrees per hour. Now, that's a very important concept, rate of change. So, rate of change of the function is the same as the slope of that function. That's what it means. So here we are told that the slope is plus 3. When the slope is positive, what happens? The graph goes up. Okay, so use this to draw section S of the graph on the diagram above. Now, the way we have to understand the slope, if the value of the slope is plus 3, that means with every 1 hour, the temperature will increase by 3. That's what slope means. So from 8 to 9, the temperature will increase by 3 minutes. So it will go from 15 to 18. And then again, from 9 to 10, another hour, for another 1 more hour, the temperature will rise up by 3 degrees. So that's what it means. Very important. We will come back to that concept in our leave insert. It will be connected with kind of one of the most difficult area in your math. So very, very important to get that concept and remember it. Okay, and then part E. Which of the following function gives the temperature in section S of the graph? The section you drew in part C. Tick one box only. Justify your answer, for example, by checking points in section S. Now, we have 3 choices to make. So again, I have to understand what I'm looking at. So the function, when it has the form that on one side of your equation you have y without any numbers, and you have the rest of values on the other side, this number that stands beside x, that number is the slope. This number here that doesn't have x beside it, this is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So we know already that the graph we drew have a slope of 3. So that number that will stand beside x has to be 3. So it's definitely not this function because that has a negative slope. So we are only considering this, the first one, and the last one. And that's part of our justification. That's what we are saying, that the slope is 3. Therefore, it's those two that we are considering. Now, what we can consider next is that value here. So this graph will cut the y-axis at -9, and this graph will cut the y-axis at +12. Let's have a look at our graph. I know we don't have the full line, but if we were to extend that, so let's see here, and then going straight here. Now we can see that that graph will cut the y-axis somewhere below 0, somewhere that a negative value, not a positive value. So therefore, our graph cannot be this. It cannot be, that cannot be the function. So that is the function. Yeah, so those two values, the slope and where the graph will cross the y-axis. Okay, and the last part. Remember that the graph shows temperature in Fia's kitchen. The temperature in Fia's bedroom is always 3 degrees less than the temperature in the kitchen, always. On the diagram on the previous page, draw a graph to show the temperature in Fia's bedroom for the first 8 hours, so from 0 to 8. Okay. So if the temperature was 12, in her bedroom is what? 3 less. So this will be the starting point. Now, that's the next point. At this time, the temperature in the kitchen is 21. It will be 3 less, so it will be 18 here. So here I am having a nice curve. Then here, it's steady temperature, the same. So I have a straight line. And again, then we are going down. So at this point is 15. So that means 3 less 12. So basically, our graph moved down by 3. That's the idea. And here, 1 unit, 1 square is 3 units. So it will move down by 1 square.